enlightening, inspirational, powerfully refining, and unapologetically controversial. Conversations with the Royal Empress. The entire world knows the secret of who you are. Now is the time to step into your queendom and become the Royal Empress that you're meant to be. One woman at a time. Conversations with the Royal Empress. Now Akilah, she's the analytical Empress. Hakeemah, she's the Empress that will challenge you. Now, straighten up your crown and be elevated through conversations. Conversations with the Royal Empress.
Welcome back to Conversations with the Royal Empress. This is Dr. Hakeemah, and joining me is my fellow co-host and kindred spirit, Akilah. Also joining us is our guest co-host and emperor. We've had him on before. You all know who he is. This is Jacob Tunez. How you doing, Jacob?
Oh, I'm blessed, doing well. And yourself?
Oh, I'm doing fine. You know, we had to bring you back on, brother, for a wonderful topic, a topic that we definitely need to discuss with a man, because as women, we don't have the answers and we need to balance off this conversation. So the topic is why men easily give up the family jewels. So Jacob, can you tell us why?
Okay. I'm going to break it down for you in a nutshell. I believe a lot of men give up their family jewels because they're never taught what a jewel is. So with not being taught that you are a jewel and these jewels that you have are sacred, so you give them up easily. You laugh and kiki high with the boys. I did this, I did that one, but not only knowing that when you're giving up those jewels, you're giving up a lot of your soul too. So you think about a person that sleep with several people, that's a lot of spirits getting into that person's soul. And so therefore, they don't really know who they are. All they really know is they have a lot of lustful ways, and they're pleased and satisfied with those lustful ways. And therefore, if they can get the pleasure from those lustful ways to make their physical feel good, then they're cool with that, but not knowing that they're hurting themselves on a whole different level because they're depleting their spiritual realm.
It's interesting that you said this because I literally was just having this conversation. In fact, I posted something that wasn't necessarily speaking about the sexual aspect, but the energy exchanges. And I don't think that people get that transference of energy. And sexual energy is the deepest energy that I think that you can exchange with a person, because because the act of itself is such an intimate act. You can't help but to intertwine your spirits. And if you're sleeping with multiple people, you're absorbing their energies, just like you're giving off yours, but you're not just giving them your energy, you're giving them the energy of all these other women that you've been with.
Mm.
And the same way with the man. If a woman is sleeping with multiple men, then she's exchanging all of because she got all these energies in her. So she's going to pass that off to that person. And then you got other people passing this stuff back and forth. And then we wonder sometimes, well, where did this come from? Why am I feeling like this? What is going on? And you can't figure yourself out because you got all this confusion and chaos. Because people just out here just exchanging energies and not understanding the reality of what it means when you do that. And you just can't keep doing that because it will frustrate. Now, I mean, unless everybody got this like major positive energy going on, and you exchanging that, but that's usually not the case, particularly with our people. So
And not only that, my sister, it leaves a chemical imbalance when children are being born. Um, the energy
Yes.
that the children feel while they're inside the womb
Yes.
proceeds to make it difficult for the child on the growing process, on the breathing process. You know, you are with this gentleman, but the energy you got from your ex, you think about him so much while you're pregnant, and the baby look like your ex, but the baby is not your ex's baby. I've seen
Mhm.
cases like that. So, like you said, the energy is something that is very important, and with that energy, if it's not positive, then who knows what's happening when that baby is inside his mother. So it's really deeper than most really consider. But with that being said, why doesn't a man protect his jewels? Why won't a man wait to have sex till he's married? Why won't a man just settle with one woman and give his undivided attention to that one woman? So therefore, she knows that she's great. Like if you are going to be with a woman, then you have to be with her in every aspect. Like you can't be giving your jewels freely to all the side chicks, and the side chicks are benefiting more than the one that you say that you love. Because how can you love a side chick? She's just what she is. She's a chick on the sideline. A
True
side chick
that.
has no value. Your value is depleted when you call yourself a side chick. I hear them all the time. I'm a side chick. I'm winning. What are you winning? You're winning
Yeah.
nothing. Like, are you happy because you can say that you sleep with somebody else's man, so you're winning? No, my
Yeah.
sister. You're depleting your value every time you smile at this dude and you know he has a wife at home.
And you're getting her energy.
Right,
Woo!
right,
And you're getting her
True.
right.
energy. And if he giving her hell at home, she got some toxic energy and he giving that to you.
Woo!
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
I mean, we gotta understand.
Man, you know what, y'all get deep already. We just started the conversation and y'all didn't get deep.
Man, listen, that's what I tell men. See, men, because see, men think, oh, well, see, I enter the woman. I deposit in the woman. Y'all better stop acting like that little hole don't exist that y'all got down there. It's an entryway.
It is. It is. It's so important. Oh my.
Just because
It's
it's
so
small, don't
important.
mean it can't nothing get in
That's
there.
right. That's right. That's right. And then, with these gentlemen, um, they just don't really understand that if men understand how much value they hold, then they would really, really understand the conversation at hand. And that remember God made man first, so the value and the power of the man is sacred. Like, but men giving themselves out so freely, it's like I be seeing sisters, they be dealing with these men, and they know the story behind the man. They know that he's a pimp, player, pusher. He pimp him, he play him, he push him right on out the door, and then it's on to the next one. So with that being said, you know his background, you know his story. Don't tell me, well, you can't believe everything you hear. So if I tell you this color is red, and Hakeem tell you this color is red, Akilah tell you this color is red, and the old lady down the street say this color is red, then why would it change when you look at it? Why? It's still gonna be red. Like it's not gonna change just because you laid your eyes on it. Like you have no superpower in your eyes, so why would the color change? We gonna call a deuce and a spade, and the rest of the cards only run the marathon. So that deuce, is powerful, but within that deuce hand, if you got that card that has that Q on it, that Q can only make the king exist. Without no queen, there's no king. People can say God created man first, but he created woman in a whole different spiritual realm. Like when I tell my younger brothers, do you know what the word he means? Like, what you talking about, Mr. Jacob? He means strength. Do you understand what the word her means? Her means wisdom. Do you know how powerful the two are when it is as one? When they come together as one? Well, ain't nobody never put it like that. My son, you need to start reading. Start reading and start listening. And that's the problem with a lot of people these days. They don't understand how great knowledge is. They don't understand how much knowledge can elevate your life. So therefore, just like these sisters, oh, he's fine, he got a nice car, he keep a pocket full of money. That might be true. But what he also keeps is no value for you. You're just a fly by night. If he called you, you answer, great. If you don't, hey, he don't care. Because he always got somebody to replace you. Because you let him give his jewels so freely. How many people like even if they don't, wait till they get married. But the average person won't tell a person, oh, well, I'm feeling you and we can take it there. But I think we both need to go get tested. People look at you like you crazy when you say that. What do you mean? Why would you say something like that? Why? Because it's real. This is 2019. And they got something that you can't get rid of. It's called that ninja. So for you to give yourself up freely and to give your jewels freely, man or woman giving up their jewels freely, and that says that you don't value your counterparts, that you can reproduce with. So it's real, real, real deeper than people would ever understand. That's just my take on it, my sisters.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Spot on. I will say, I think it has a lot to do with the society in which we live. I mean, we program our children, and as they grow up, you know, the culture that we have, or the culture that we submit to, shapes the way our children think about their roles as men, as young girls and young boys, and how they're supposed to act with one another. I mean, so often I've this is what I hate, and I really hate this when adults say this to a young child. You gonna be a heartbreaker. We saying this. You got grown women saying this to a 2 or 3 year old boy. He gonna be a heartbreaker. Why would you tell a young man that? So you program him just to be a pimp type guy. You're programming him to believe that my role is to go out here and sleep with as many women as I can because that's what I'm supposed to do. I had a disagreement with a guy that I know, and he tells me all men cheat. I said, where your proof, where your actual fact on that? Because I can bring before you several men who don't. No, they just lying to you. They really cheat. I said, where you get that from? Every man I know cheat. I said, see, that's the problem. You too busy looking at the people around you. Maybe you need to change your circle or change your environment. So often we think what we're supposed to be doing is based on what others are doing or what society tells us what we should do. And if we had a community in which you would be shunned or sent away if you were to be out there sleeping around, we wouldn't do it. But because it's so acceptable and it's so promoted, people are followers, and that's what they do.
You have some men who define their manhood by their sexual prowess. And so it is learned.
I'm sorry, sweetie.
Well,
The reason I laugh because that's Hakeemah. Can I get a little funky with it?
Gee, I'm scared. What that mean? Go ahead, bro. Keep it PG though. Keep it PG.
Excuse my French. Pardon me, but that is the most bogus piece of crap that I've ever heard in my life. What? All men do what?
Yeah, I know, right? I
And
laughed
you
at
and
that
you
man's face.
and you and you and you base your manhood on by your private counterparts? What? Really? Really? You don't base your man on who you uplift, who you inspire. You don't brace your manhood on your spiritual growth. On the on where you were in life and where you're at now. How you grown spiritually? Like what? Really? Okay, then that's called lack of manhood.
I have
People
had.
get it.
I'm sorry.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Because when
People.
you just said that, I've
Uh
had
huh.
men ask my son once he got a certain age about, are you having sex yet? You got the girls, whatever. And I'm like, no, sir, don't talk to my son like that. Don't make him think because he's 16, 17 years old, he's supposed to be having sex. For what? Because if he get a baby, he can't take care of. He
Mm.
ain't ready to be nobody's father. That's what comes with sex, amongst other things. But that's a reality that the chances are that if you have sex, you will create a life,
Mhm.
especially if you're not protecting yourself.
Right.
So, and even then, sometimes it still happens. So I'm just saying, and so why are we even? Yeah, now you may want to have the conversation with a young boy if you want to have this. Well, let me tell you how to protect yourself, and let's discuss this. This doesn't define your manhood. But when you come into them, in a way where it's like, yeah, boy, you getting you some yet? What message are you sending to these young boys when you do
This is what you're saying to these young boys. To ask him in those type terms, boy, you get you some yet? That's making him feel like. A lot of times, they make a young boy feel like, so this is what men do. So maybe I should develop, this persona of my manhood. But at the same time, if you're gonna ask him a question like that, listen, young man, I know you're developing your mustache, that you may be feeling yourself, but having anybody sit down and really talk to you about the consequences of having intercourse? They might say, "No, sir. What are you talking about?" Well, let me have about an hour of your time. Let me break it down to you, so you understand what you'll get yourself into and how it'll affect your life and affect your parents' life as well. Those are how you have these conversations with these young men. Because nine times out of 10, these kids learn so fast nowadays that they can understand the lingo that you're talking. But to speak to them in a format where it's politically correct, where it's on an intellectual level about intercourse, that really makes them understand how valuable their jewels are, and it makes them understand, like, if I do this and I slip up, then I need to take ownership and responsibility. I know several brothers that lost football and basketball scholarships. They didn't lose them; they didn't take them because they had to raise children straight out of high school.
Mm,
So,
wow, that's it. That's
so,
yeah, that's
so
real
with that
talk.
being said, it's a way you talk to the young men, and just like a lot of young men, they don't understand it. They just think it's so cool, and they think that they can have bragging rights doing it. There's nothing about there's nothing worth having bragging rights about having a young lady pregnant at 14 and 15. when you got to put a child is not a burden, but for your parents to bear that when you're only a baby yourself and you're having a baby, that's a whole different level.
Yeah.
So, that's just my take on it. But, I just I just think that it needs to come from both sides of the playing field. From the females need to sit down and talk to females. Males need males need to and talk to their daughters, and as well as the mothers need to talk to their sons. It's a miscommunication nowadays. A lot of parents nowadays don't pay close attention to in depth to their children like parents did back in the day, but a lot still do. But for those that don't, they need to do what we call a reality check. They need to reevaluate themselves as parents, because these kids don't have to be here, but it's up to us as adults to teach them and show them the correct way. Because once the streets get a hold to them, then it's a wrap. It's a Reynolds wrap.
It's unfortunate that many of the parents are the poor example. The young man looking at his dad run through women, or the young lady is looking at her mom allow men to run through her. A lot of the male behavior has been reinforced by women. How often do women make men feel bad if he's not seeking sex from them? What's wrong with you? You a faggot? And I'm just listeners, I want you to know I using that term um, specifically because this is what I've heard a lot of men reveal, that when they were not pursuing women sexually, this is the feedback that they were getting. You scared of it? You scared of women? And they're like, you scared of pee? This is the type of thing that women do to men who are trying to elevate their thinking, or trying to elevate the woman's thinking. He's not trying to be sexual, but he's ridiculed and made to feel less of a man by women just as much as men. Guys will pat each other on the back, but women can often make a man feel worse than other men make him feel if he's not pursuing sex. So I mean, it's being reinforced on both sides. If a guy is known to be sexually active, then there are quite a few women who would prefer to be with that guy or give him action than the man who's focused and trying to achieve his goals. So that's something that we do have to shed light and address, because oftentimes as women we contribute to men's behavior. Oh, you ain't trying to get none. That's unfortunate, but as women, many of us perform in that way. We think that way, that this is a chase game. It's a competition. Who can get each other in the bedroom first? It's a very immature, very slave-like mentality that our people are demonstrating, and it needs to be addressed.
I agree with that. I've seen that happen where women are asking men that, or they think something is wrong with the guy if he's not making a move on them. And it's like, why does a man have to make a move on you? Why can't he just respect you? Why can't he just value you and see value in you? I had a friend of mine years ago when she was dating her now husband, and he wasn't making any moves on her. And she came to me, and she didn't degrade him, but she came and asked me, he hasn't touched me. Do you think? I said, girl, let that man respect you. I said, he's trying to respect you. You're not supposed to be doing anything anyway. Just religion wise, it was just like, but I was just saying, so I told her, you're so used to men wanting to jump in the bed with you or touch you or do something, that when somebody is not doing that, then you're looking funny, like, okay, well, what's the problem? But then it turns out, but she married him. And so, eventually something took place, but it didn't take place immediately. And that was not what he was doing. He was taking her out. He was having conversations with her. Treating her like an absolute lady. And so we have to be okay with that. But we do. You got a lot of women now that think, oh, well, if a man don't come on to you, he must be gay. No, that's not what that means.
Exactly.
In fact, some of them that are technically on the down low, they probably trying to get in your pants quicker than the ones that are just trying to respect you.
Lord Jesus.
I'm
And
saying,
mercy.
but that's because why? Because he got something to hide.
Mm.
So naturally, he's
That's
going
true.
to. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes
Yeah.
it's because it's almost like when somebody say thou dost protest too much. Now he ain't protesting, but he's awfully, he's doing too much with it. Like I gotta, so sometimes I even question the brothers when they constantly bragging about how many they had. Again, trying to exert a certain level like this defines manhood when that's not how your manhood is defined.
Taught behavior.
But my sisters, you know why I think that these brothers don't understand what their jewels really mean and how to define manhood. Because when you're inside your mother's belly, there has to be a spiritual realm in you while you're growing. So, and a lot of these guys that are not in these children's life, they haven't been in these children's life since the woman had the child in the belly. So I know my mother tell me all the time. She said, "Baby, when I was pregnant with you, your father just used to sit there and talk to you. While you was in my belly, he would talk to you. So as you was born, when you heard his voice, you would look up with them big shiny eyes, but you already knew his voice because he used to talk to you while you were still in my belly. So I mean, it's a lot of things that go into nurturing that child about his sacred jewels and the spiritual realm of his jewels. So, and I challenge my brothers to stop giving yourself away so freely. Um, Understand what it is to save yourself. Like you gave yourself away so freely, so much, to when you do find somebody that truly, genuinely love you, and you fall deep in love with her, and then when you try to stand on top of love, therefore you're not gonna have nothing to give it to her because you already gave the jewels away. So therefore you're gonna be giving her, uh, you know, just a plastic jewel. It's not gonna be real no more. You know. So like if you've given it away freely for so long, and then you feel like you're ready to settle down and you find out who you are, but you have no more jewels to give. So therefore, the love is going to deteriorate because if you don't have those jewels, and I'm not just talking about private parts, I'm talking about mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically. Like these are jewels that you must learn.
I, I, it, it reminds me of just what happened with us in on the plantation, how our relationships were destroyed by the slave master. He didn't care if the male slave was married. If he wanted that male slave, if he wanted to use that male slave to produce other slaves or stronger slaves or bucks, he made him get with whatever woman he wanted him to get with. They didn't respect our marriages or they didn't respect our relationships. So we've gotten to the mindset of slavery. You got the buck who was used to impregnate all the women on the plantation to make slaves. And that's just what a lot of brothers do. They run around here and impregnate women like they got a slave master over them saying, boy, go on over there and get her pregnant. It's ridiculous. It's for us to be in 2019 reflecting slave mentality. But that's what a lot of our brothers are doing. They're doing the same thing that was done on the plantation, that they were ordered to do. It's unfortunate.
Same with the women.
Yeah, true.
They're acting like, okay, I got to get pregnant by this one and this one and this one. And this one. I mean, you got all these bloodlines that I mean, it's a reality. And then wonder why our sons sometimes behave in the manner that they behave in. Well, if they've had 5 or 6 men over them, why are they growing up? What is his mentality? If he sees his mama doing that, then that's how I'm supposed to be with women.
Teach.
What you think, Jacob?
Well, what I think is that it goes back to, like I always said, man. It's how you talk as a man. I just think a lot of times, like, these brothers don't have a clue what's going on about about the jewels that possess, like, these jewels are something that is going to be inside of you know the blood flow of a child. So, do you want the genetics to be great, or do you want to genetics to have some spiritual barriers? We all have spiritual barriers, but at the same time, you actually want to. A female should be like, oh, you know what? That's a good brother right there. I always see him take care of his kids. He ain't have 10,000 baby mamas. Like, he don't get and raise his voice at women. Like he's just a good brother all the way around the board. And you want them to be able to say, man, I missed out. Why can I even find a brother like that? So if they see how you are in reality, then people be like, you know what? I need to have something like that too. So let me see what I can do to really further my process and just reevaluate myself. But if you just okie doke that be just giving out your jewels to this person, that person, to every Sheila and Lisa and Nicole, and oh yeah, girl, I had them too. You like what? How does that make you? How does that make you look? How does that make your bloodline look like? Because you are a reflection of your bloodline. So this is not something that your parents and your grandparents stood for. So, like, why would you even embarrass the bloodline like that? Like, it's a lot deeper with you just being that person. It reflects a whole generation. Like, it reflects your bloodline. It reflects like what your parents instilled in you. It's like a slap in the face. So, I just feel like men need to pay attention to themselves and stop being what society has told them to be. Agreed?
Agreed.
Oh,
Agreed.
I definitely agree. I'm so for people not following what everyone else is doing, or when we act as if we don't have independent thoughts. So I'm in total agreement.
Hakeem, people ask me all the time, they're like, Jacob, man, you know so many beautiful women, but you pay them no mind. I don't. I don't. I try to encourage my sisters. You know what I mean? So, like, if I'm interested in a sister, she'll know it, but the whole world won't know it. You know what I mean? Like, everybody everybody don't have business about themselves, so they try to mess with your business. So, I just look at it from a different. If I turn the corner and I can hear your mouth 100 yards down the street, you are not for Jacob.
Wait a minute, so she can't be loud, obnoxious?
Oh no, baby, I can't do no loud woman.
Yeah, I hear you.
We ain't talking about I'm in love with Kiki, none of that. That boo boo kitty. No, we ain't doing that. Because if you that loud, then there's some mess coming. Believe that.
That's
And I
that
don't do messy.
validation. That's that
Yeah, I don't do
validation.
messy.
A lot of people, a lot of men and women, people can be fine by themselves, but you put them in a circle or in an environment or room with people of the opposite sex, and you get to see how people change. Me and my husband were just having a conversation, and he says, like, I'm in the gym. We have a gym at work, and he says, I'm in the gym with some guys that, and everything is fine. He said, to the women come in there, all of a sudden the guys trying to show out. They trying to be
Right.
extra. Now they
That's right.
talking a little louder. Now they got to brag on how much I'm lifting this, and all because they're trying to impress these women. You know what I mean?
That's
So
right.
it's that validation that we both need from each other. Like, I have to, in order for me to feel like a woman, if I don't have men going, oh, you fine, I'm not a woman then. Or a man not feeling like, if a woman is not looking at you or praising how your body is emasculated, or how your body's emasculated, or not praising you on how well you look, or if he don't feel like a man, or if she's not responding to his compliments, he not feeling like a man. So we have to get out of these we have to get rid of these issues where we feel like we need to be validated by one another all the time. And it's not even a spiritual validation where I'm a woman, you a man, and we create a balance because I'm emotional, you're logical. So we're going to come together and we're going to build. We're not looking for that type of validation. The validation we want is something so lowly centered, something so physical, something so physical and sexually natured.
Mm-hmm. And Hakeemah, this is what I think is really horrible. Now, you tell me if you agree with me. You tell me, okay, if you agree with me. Now, I have a lot of female friends, right? And a lot of them are married. Some got rough patches. So when I hear a married woman tell me, well, Jacob, how can I get my husband to think like you think?
Ooh, that's a no-no.
Whoa. I said, well, that's something that's not up for discussion. Like, man, you've been friends for 20 years or more. So, man, I don't discuss people's, companionship they meet with them. That's a no-no. But what I can tell you that is, maybe this is something that you should have a conversation with your daddy about, or one of your uncles. But I'm not that guy for you to have a conversation with like that, because that leads to a whole different level of messiness. So, we ain't gonna do that. And Hakeem, it's happened to me more than once. Trust and believe what I tell you. It's happened to me.
That. I believe it.
Oh man, I'll be like, Lord have mercy, man. And I'm thinking in the back of my mind, how can she fix her mouth to even say that? Like, wow. I don't want nobody coming to me saying, hey Jay, man, what you said to my wife? What? Bro, I ain't said nothing to your wife, man. I don't entertain stuff like that, man. I don't know, man. And she's like, I was just asking. No, that's something that you can't just ask me. You don't just ask a person something like that.
That's manipulation, bro. That's what that
is. Yeah. That's like
fattening the cow. That's setting you up.
Yeah, man. That's like throwing a hint in, and that's when I become a track star, and you call me Carl Lewis Jr.
Carl Lewis
Yeah, I run.
I love it.
Yeah, I run.
Woo, bro, this a heavy conversation right here, man. This is heavy. I think that
question for you ladies, both of y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all my sisters, y'all two great divine spirits, you're real intellectual, and both of y'all ease on the eyes. So therefore, in your networking and your work, and I know brothers like try to shoot their shot and whatnot. So how does that conversation go? Is it a conversation like clown, get out my face, or I'm married, I appreciate it, and you keep it moving? Or how's that conversation go with you, Hakeem? How's that conversation go?
With me, it's the level of. I'm gonna start on intellectual level first. I'm gonna try to speak to his intellect and be respectful. I ain't gonna start off being disrespectful with no man. Let him know, bro.
Right.
That's not what I'm about. That's not my energy. I'm committed, and that's just the type of woman I am. Now, if he gets disrespectful, then I might destroy. I'm tell you this, I'm gonna destroy a person's manhood. You be disrespectful to me, then I'm gonna have to shoot you down. You gonna run away with your tail tucked between your legs, because that's how I'm gonna shut it down. Because I don't like.
I'm sure you.
I
Yeah,
don't like.
I
I have an
I
issue
know that's
with I
right.
have men trying to impose their will. Because some men are just predators. You could, because I had a man tell me it was 8-to-1 ratio that I was gonna be somebody's woman. I just said, I said, excuse me, bro, I'm sorry. You know, this is how I'm telling him, excuse me, bro, I'm sorry. I'm married. Oh, that don't mean nothing. And I just went straight street on him. I said, oh, this is a street brother. I'm gonna have to talk to him in a language that he understand. I'm gonna speak his language. I said, it's gonna be 8-to-1 ratio that I'm gonna have my foot surgically removed from your backside if you don't get out of my face with that nonsense. I ain't had no more problems with him. But to tell me, oh, I don't care, me or these other men don't care about your marital status, I thought it was disrespectful. So for
Very
me,
disrespectful.
I'm gonna tell you, no, bro. I'm sorry, bro. I appreciate, you whatever you doing, what you trying to do. I understand that you out here looking. I respect that. However, bro, not me. I'll say it
That's right.
respectfully, but if it goes to a level of disrespect, I'm shutting it down. It's just what I'm gonna do.
And rightfully so.
How do I respond to people? I mean, it obviously it depends on the manner in which the person approaches me, but I'm
Right.
usually not. I'm usually the you can attract more bees with honey type of person. So
Right.
usually I'll just smile and say thank you, but I'm I'm unavailable. Or
Right.
I've had people ask me stuff, and I say, and I mean, and married or not, I'll still throw the married thing out if I don't want to be bothered. I'd be like, oh no, my husband wouldn't approve. He wouldn't appreciate that. So, but thank
Right.
you. And usually
That's right.
I usually don't have much problem after that. I'm
Right.
not,
Right. Right.
that's just my approach. I haven't really had to snap off on anyone other than now, if a man is disrespectful, then I'm just like, there's nothing else to talk about. You're disrespectful, and I don't talk to disrespectful people, and I just remove myself. Period. From the conversation, from wherever I am, just don't even talk to me.
Right.
So that's typically my response to that.
Right.
Sometimes I think silence is a powerful response.
Me myself, they might be like, I got a husband. I was like, that's great. Enjoy your day, sister. And I keep it moving. Like all you gotta do is say the H word to me. I'm moving. Like I don't do that because like I say, I come from a different, like my dad and my uncles. Like excuse my French, but about my mothers and my aunties, yeah, bro, you don't even want them bullets flying at you like that. Like for real, for real. Like people don't play about their wives.
Yeah,
This is true.
I've had a man ask me for, is your husband married? And I think that
What? Oh, what?
Is
What
your
the hell does
husband
that
married?
mean? What the hell does that mean?
That means, okay, you may be married, but is he married? Like, is he faithful? Is basically what they're trying to say. If I say I'm married, oh, but is your husband married? Like
why?
Alrighty.
Why is there even a rebuttal when you say
I
that you're
know.
married? Like
exactly. But I'm just saying that has happened before, and and my response is very much so, and I just keep it moving.
well, if I was married and they say, is your wife married? I don't know if I would respond that calm and collective, to be honest with you.
I'm pretty calm when it comes to stuff like that.
Hey, sister, that's about the most
she's the calm one.
That's about the most ignorant rebuttal I ever heard in my life. Like,
it's very ignorant.
If people say some ignorant stuff, it's like, they don't want rejection, or they just mischief makers and just want to cause mischief, and they are totally disrespectful after you respectfully decline. A lot of people take it as a sport. Oh, this is just a challenge. And they just keep it going, and then they really show their true colors, their true nature, that, oh, you a devil.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you said married, like brother said, she said, okay, sis, well, you have a wonderful day, and keep it moving. You can respect someone complimenting you and liking what they see and not knowing that you're married, or committed. You necessarily have to be married for someone to back off. Or if you committed or just don't want to be bothered, leave people alone, man. But it's a sport. It's about a conquest.
Well, if I don't want to be bothered, I always say I'm married.
So now you put that on the podcast. So when you say it, the guy gonna say, "No, she don't want to be bothered. I'm gonna be persistent."
Well, if the shoe fits, wear it, boy.
That's right.
Oh man, you know that brings us to our challenges, right? We gonna have to challenge some folks right now. So one of my challenges is we have to not only teach our young women and that we're raising that their bodies are valuable, but we also have to teach our young men. Our young men, we need to teach them that their bodies are valuable as well. Just like we teach our young women, or should teach them, that make the man earn you. We need to be telling our young men, make sure that woman earn you. If she ain't worthy of you, you should not be giving her any part of you. She's not worthy of you. You are God. And if that's a devil, a God does not give away a part of his godlyhood to a devil. You just don't do that. So that's something that we need to teach our young men as well as teach our young girls. Second, let's get out of this competitiveness when it comes to sex. We'll stop looking at one another as some sexual conquest. That's not what this is about. I don't know where we get these rules from. Well, I do know, larger society. But we need to throw that back out there. It's not useful for us. We're spiritual people and it's not serving us. The next challenge is we need to put everything in its proper context. We need to understand that sex is not just for pleasure. I mean, sex is for building something with someone special on a spiritual level. So let's stop looking at sex as just I just want to feel good for a minute and move on. That's not what it's used for. It's for procreation, not just on a physical level, but on a spiritual and emotional, spiritual and level as well. So let's be wiser when it comes to our choices regarding sex or dealing with one another. On that note, Jacob, do you have any last words?
Well, last words I want to say is be encouraged. I thank my sisters again for having me on the show. It's always a pleasure to talk and build and empower with you ladies. But I just challenge my men to protect the jewels, man. Them jewels are sacred, man. Them jewels are heaven sent. They're God's gift. They're part of your spiritual realm. So if you don't protect them, then what divine woman will actually want you? Because once they find out that those jewels are no value, then if she truly values herself, then it's gonna be bye bye for you, for real, for real. Protect your jewels, like protect them jewels. They mean so much.
That was wonderful. It means so much coming from another brother, because as women, we could say that all day to men, but when it comes to our emperors out there, when that wisdom comes from your brother, I'm hoping that it's very impactful. I'm really hoping so. Thank you so much, my brother, for coming on. And you definitely will be back. You know it. You got a home here. We'd love to have you
No
back.
doubt.
So
And
again,
Hakeemah, just before we break out, I would like to challenge brothers in the Midwest.
okay.
I'm talking about Chicago, Indiana, Ohio, Detroit. Let's get together and put a seminar, and let's call it the spiritual jewels of men. Let's
Woo.
put together a seminar like that, the spiritual jewels of men.
Okay.
And
Okay.
Hakeemah and that keynote speaker, I don't know if he'll do it, but one of the keynote speakers need to be your hubby. Real talk.
Oh, Minister Hakeem.
Oh yeah. Yes sir. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
He would definitely love to teach that. He's very pro black man, very pro black woman, as you know, and that's one of
Right.
his pet peeves is how black people are so sexually competitive. So yeah, we
Right.
definitely gotta make that happen. It's in the universe
Right.
now,
Right.
bro.
And I will definitely be there. No doubt.
Got you. Well, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining us again. And I want to thank you, our listeners, because you have been very loyal to us. You've been listening. You've been giving your feedback. Thank you so much for supporting us every week. And we look forward to you joining us again next week.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Conversations with the Royal Empress. Tune in next week for another enlightening conversation. For more information on the Royal Empress, please visit the website royalempress.org. You can also follow the Royal Empress on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Conversations with the Royal Empress is a subsidiary of the Royal Empress organization. All rights reserved.